You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Cavanaugh versus Bowles and McElliot.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Your Honor.
Ms. Cavanaugh, you and your mother are appearing in court today to prove paternity of your 3-week-old son, Malcolm.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you claim his biological father is Mr. Bowles.
Yes, Your Honor.
Even though you admit to being intimate with another man, Mr. McElliot, during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, he's waiting outside of the courtroom, and he'll be joining us shortly. Mr. Bowles, you've never met baby Malcolm.
No, I haven't.
But you say you're sure you're not his biological father.
I'm positive I'm not.
So, Ms. Cavanaugh, I have to ask you, why are you sure Mr. Bowles is Malcolm's father?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Bowles is my son's father. Even though we wasn't in a committed relationship, we had unprotected sex frequently. And he has not been around. He doesn't ask about my son. He probably didn't even know my son's name was Malcolm until now. And I'm just ready to prove that he is the father because my son doesn't have a voice, so I'm his voice.
There's one other person in question, and their sexual intimacy was only once, and with Mr. Bowles.
Well, ma'am, you seem to know more about it than she does,
Yeah,
so let me bring you on in here.
Yeah.
So you are Ms.
I'm her
Cavanaugh,
mother.
you're her mom.
And I'm a good mother, and we have a close relationship, and she tells me everything.
That's great. I'm glad that you all are close. And now, Mr. Bowles, you say you seem to be certain that he's not. And if you've never had contact or you're not involved with the child, but you admit to having a sexual relationship with Ms. Cavanaugh, how can you be so sure that you're not?
That's because when we first met the first night, we had sex within like 20 minutes of being in her house.
It wasn't within 20 minutes.
And then, like probably 3 weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, I found like an open condom wrapper in her bathroom.
Well,
She had already said that
just because
like, I was the only person she was having sex with. And so then I found
just
the wrapper.
because I had sex with him on the first night doesn't mean I have sex with everybody on the first night. I actually cared for him and had feelings for him. We actually talked for a couple of years on Facebook before I even met him. So we had some type of connection. It wasn't just he came over one night and just we did it. And then the condom that he's talking about, it was my friend's that I worked with. Her and her boyfriend spent the night, and that was that.
She said she used it. She said it was with her ex.
I feel like, Your Honor, that he is just trying to justify the reason why he believes he is not the father.
But did you tell him that you used that
No.
condom with your ex? So that's not true.
No, I feel like he's just trying to justify his reason.
All right, so now you find out you're pregnant.
Yes.
When you find out, who do you tell?
Your Honor, I told him. I told Mr. Bowles because that's who I believed was the father. It was the right date, right conception time. But I did have one sexual encounter with Mr. McElliot, and it was only because I wanted to be in a serious relationship with Mr. Bowles. And I felt like he didn't respect me and didn't care about my feelings. So yes, I did have one encounter with Mr. McElliot, but I felt like I wanted to do that to make him jealous because I want him to see that somebody else wants me and maybe he would want me, which is a very immature and childish way of thinking. I now know that because it didn't work at all. I told both of them at the time that I found out that I was pregnant. I told both of them.
Well, I'm glad you understand the error of your ways because now you know.
It takes a lot of
This is why we're standing here today. You know, Mr. Bowles, I'm trying to understand your doubt fully.
And also before she got pregnant, she actually lied about being pregnant maybe like some weeks before. She lied about it.
That is true. The way that I found out that I was truly pregnant with my son is because I was very childish when I was talking to Mr. Bowles. Like, I really cared about him and I desperately wanted him to care about me because we were with each other basically every other night, if not every night. He was coming to my house. Like, he lived about 30 minutes away, worked about 30 minutes away, was always coming to see me. He gave me the wrong impression, really. So when I did childishly try to fake a pregnancy test, I went to the store, got a pregnancy test, was going to take 2 negatives, turn it into a positive. And when, yes.
Take 2 negatives and turn it into a positive.
Yes, crack them open and turn them into a positive.
Oh, and put 2 of the lines together. So you had a plan to pretend you were pregnant in order to keep him. And then what happened?
Well, I took both of the tests, Your Honor, and I went to go eat, and I came back and they were both positive.
Wow. No cut and paste necessary.
No, Yeah, it was very shocking. Like, when I was pretending to be pregnant or trying to be pregnant, I don't think I understand fully the responsibility that I do now.
Yes.
So-
because it's a lot of responsibility,
yes,
isn't it?
It's hard.
And I'm very proud of her. She's really stepped up.
So, Mr. Bowles, when you heard about the pregnancy, were you excited?
Actually, at first I didn't believe her. And
Okay.
then I did start to believe her. I wouldn't say I was excited. I was still being around. But
Yes,
I knew that
he
she was
was.
with other guys. And actually, I think it's more than just one other guy, because when I was at her house one time, and I spent the night in my car, somebody went in my car, and I thought she had something to do with it at first, but I don't think she did. But we kind of fell out. And I remember I was at the DMV getting my license, and she texted me talking about I'm with this other dude. It wasn't
That was
Mr.
the last
McElliot.
time we talked, Your Honor.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
I just don't understand his reasoning. Like, he was acting like he was the father, but when I told him I wanted to be in a committed relationship, I said I don't want to have sex until we are in a committed relationship. I was just tired of it. I was done. I didn't want him to disrespect me anymore. I could be carrying your child and you just disrespect me. I told him I didn't want to have sex anymore until we were in a committed relationship. We fell asleep because I was tired. He wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and tells me he's going to go have sex with another woman.
What?
Yeah, so
You wake her up to tell her that?
First of all, we was just friends, so I
so
can
just
leave
because
and
I
go
was asleep,
wherever.
that justifies what you did?
We wasn't together, so I can leave and go back to my house and do whatever I want.
This was about the first month that I was pregnant. And yes, I did chase him out of my house because I don't see why you would disrespect a woman that may be carrying your child like that. Any woman. Any woman. And that's the last time I talked to him or
Ms.
seen him.
Cavanaugh, do you want to be with him so desperately that you just want him to be the father? Or do you truly believe in your heart he is your child's father?
Your Honor.
Because there's a difference.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like, I do still kind of have feelings for Mr. Bowles, and I don't really know why. With Mr. McElliot, he actually told me he didn't want to do a DNA test, and he would actually sign the birth certificate and didn't care if he was the father and wanted to be with me. Even if he did that, I would still want my son to know who his true blood father is, because everybody deserves to know.
That's right. You know what? I think it's time we meet Mr. McElliot. Jerome, will you please escort him in?
I think he deserves a round of applause.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's a great person. Yeah. He's a good person.
Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
State your name for the court.
Philip McElliot.
Mr. McElliot, thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Please describe your relationship with Ms. Cavanaugh.
My relationship with Ms. Cavanaugh, I would say, is a very special one. Me and her, we met. I got her number. I called her that evening and offered her for a movie. We hooked up and went out to eat or something like that. But ever since.
So you took her on dates and courted her and treated her like a lady should be treated?
Always.
Good. So at some point, she found out she was pregnant, and she says that she told Mr. Bowles. How did you find out?
She sent me a picture of an ultrasound. I also have that with me.
You do? Let me see
Yes.
that, please. Thank you.
Um,
Oh.
I looked at the ultrasound. She told me that the ultrasound actually resembled my mother. And I mean, I really couldn't understand how you can get facial features from an ultrasound, but.
Well, you can, but regardless, the point is she was talking about the baby as if this child could be yours.
Yes.
So as you look at Malcolm, who do you think he looks like?
I want to say Mr. Bowles, but you can't always go on looks. But I just have I have a feeling. I would, honestly, Your Honor, I would be very pleased and very happy if it was Mr. McElliot's, because he would be a good father. But I just don't know.
Do you feel like he looks like you or your mother?
I would say no.
How about you, Mr. Bowles, when you look at the picture of this handsome Little fellow, do you see yourself?
I don't think so.
All right. So she said you agreed to sign the birth certificate.
I did. The stress was starting to get on me a little heavy, and I was certain that it was getting on her probably more. So I had came up with an ultimatum that I would sign the birth certificate, I would be the father of the child, and we would just scratch the DNA test and everything. I'll just pick up, and we'll be a family.
When you say the stress was weighing on you and it was weighing on her, was that the stress of you knowing that you may or may not be the father because you knew that it was a possibility that Mr. Bowles could be the father?
Yes, I would say.
She was honest with you about that.
To a certain extent, but it was enough.
Have you met Malcolm and established a relationship?
No,
You have not.
I'm not.
So what happened to the plan?
Somewhere along the line, things started to get a little bit off track. But I believe that one thing that me and her had in common was the intention to really find out if I was the father or not, or the same thing with Mr. Bowles here. But I believe there was a third party or something that was included in this.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
I
true,
ju-
Your Honor.
Oh, nah, it's true.
That's true, Your
A
Honor.
third party?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please elaborate on the third party.
It was a very drunken night, and it was a one-night stand.
Do you remember whether you used protection or not?
No. That's why I think it may be another person, but I'm not quite sure.
That's something I don't understand, though. Men, like, you're having sex all over and you're intimate. I'm not referring
It's not
to you.
right for anybody.
Yeah, but when a girl does it, it's like, whoa, whoa. Well, what about them? Like, it makes no sense. And it wasn't right for her to do it. But I just don't understand why people can.
Well, since we want to go to school, let me take you there.
Well, let's go.
This is the difference. This is the difference. And I want you to understand that. Because a lot of women feel like they want to compete with a man, and these men are running all over the place. And it's wrong. It's wrong all day long.
that's right.
However, when you understand the basic biological facts, you get the difference. We, women, bear the children, meaning they can orbit in uncertainty indefinitely, not knowing whether or not they're the father, when we know for certain we're the mothers.
Yes.
And we are responsible. And that's the difference we have to teach our young girls. Do you understand? So yeah, we can run around and sleep with whomever we want to sleep with. But when it's time for the consequence, when you slept with more than one person, you set them in limbo.
Yeah. And the weight all lays right here.
I'm a woman too. I ain't young no more, but I wish.
You still
I am a woman as well. We have responsibilities to a child. Until we figure out who their father is, the child still's got to eat. That's the difference, and that is what we need to tell our young girls so we are empowered to know the difference. You all running around here having sex like it's Ring Around the Rosie or something. It's not a game. This is about a person. So it's not about, us saying that it doesn't matter when men sleep around. Yes, it does matter.
Well, I just heard my daughter take responsibility. I believe that he should apologize.
He hasn't just been, look, I haven't been there through the pregnancy, but Miss Cavanaugh, what your daughter learned was a very valuable lesson. A, pick and choose very wisely. Who you gonna lay down with, right? And look, you cannot make a man love you by trying to have his baby or trick him into having his baby.
And I never said that she could.
It's true. Look, these aren't lessons just that your daughter has to learn. These are lessons all women had to learn. I had to learn it. A lot of women in this courtroom had to learn it.
Your Honor,
You got to respect yourself enough to know. If he don't want you, leave him alone.
That's true, Your Honor.
That's it.
I've learned to respect myself, but not only for myself, but for my son.
That's it. I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Cavanaugh v. Bowles McElliot, pertaining to whether Mr. Bowles or Mr. McElliot is the father of 3-week-old Malcolm Cavanaugh. Mr. McElliot, you are not his father.
Apologize.
Mr. Bowles, you are not his father.
I'm sorry.
Calm down.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to put you guys through all that.
I am hoping that you still pursue Malcolm's biological father. Do you know who that is? Is it that third person, or do you not know?
It's the third person.
Okay, do you know where he is?
No, Your Honor.
But I want you to continue to try to find your child's father because it's important.
It is.
It's important for Malcolm, okay? Young men, you all gotta button it up. Now, Mr. McElliot, I'm not really talking to you as much as I am speaking to Mr. Bowles. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was hoping Malcolm was not your child. Because you're not ready. You're not ready. But when you're not ready to raise a person, then you should not be engaging in the actions that produce people. And with that said, court is adjourned.
Thank you.